Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today is going to be a big day. It is the day right before my birthday. Please, please, please hold your applause all at home. I really appreciate that. You're too sweet. But I've been holding off on unboxing this collection until I got all four of them. Finally, today, Ringside Collectibles delivered my back order of the Cody Rhodes. As you can see, this is the whole set of the Royal Rumble, with the Build-A-Figure being the Great Khali. Being honest with you, I've had every rendition of every single one of these wrestling figures outside of the Hurricane. I didn't really need it. Didn't really need the whole set. The only reason why I bought it was for that Build-A-Figure. So, as you've done in the past, what we're going to do is we're going to open up two of them. Then we're going to open up the other two. Then we're going to build the figure, and then we're going to rank them. So, this is a three-part ranking system. Tomorrow, like I said, will be my birthday. So, I thought, what better way than to do two of my absolute favorite wrestlers of all times for my birthday, and that is going to be Big Sexy Kevin Nash and Cody Rhodes. So, we're going to put these two off to the side. Boom, just like magic. Don't even see them. And then we're going to go with the two. Number one, we've had a ton of Hulk Hogan's. We know it's the 40th anniversary of Hulk Hogan. That year should be coming to a close, but until then, we are going to still get a bunch of the Hulk Hogan's. All right? And then, like I said, this isn't the first time that they've released a Hurricane, but I think they do that kind of a lot. Number one, because he is an agent in the backstage area, but also, some people are new to collecting. Some people passed up the last Hurricane, whatever. So it's always good to get some of these figures back out there so that newer collectors or newer people to watching it might be interested in buying it, Plus, it's a great way to get a third or a fifth wrestler in your entire collection. So you're only paying for the four, but you're getting a fifth one free. And this is an actual wrestler. I think they've actually gone on record to say that they probably would never make a Great Khali just because of the scaling for the packaging and everything like that in a regular series line. So this is one of the very few ways that they can actually get it worked into so that you can get a Great Khali. Now, as far as big men go, I would love to see, because they have a Great Khali, I'd love to see for a WrestleMania maybe, a Giant Gonzalez. I know it's very hard to get Giant Gonzalez just for the simple fact that he has passed away, and there's licensing involved and all that kind of stuff. So, will it ever happen? I don't know. I would love to see it, but I think this is a great way of going about it, because I don't know if there's enough of demand for a Great Khali or a Giant Gonzalez to stand on a peg shelf all on its own. So this is a perfect way to slide these characters in for those people who absolutely want to. Like I said, they got me to buy 4 wrestling figures that I absolutely did not need just for this fifth one. Now, I'd like to know, are you one of those type of people that are probably about the same equivalent? Are you one of those that bought this just for the Great Khali? Leave a comment in the comment section. Also, I told you it's going to be my birthday tomorrow. It would be amazing if I woke up to a bunch of new subscribers. So if you are watching this, please hit that like and subscribe button. It does a great thing for our channels. I really love it, and it makes me very happy. So please do it. All right, let's get right into this. We're going to start off with the lesser of the two. We're going to go with Hurricane. Now, with the Hurricane, you see this. It's that beautiful Royal Rumble. Now, I love that Mattel will always do their marketing towards the actual pay-per-view that's coming up. So this is the Royal Rumble look that they had last year. So in 2024. We don't know what 2025 is going to look like. So they have this one. And on the side, you get that glamour shot like you always do. And then you have the photo of him in his actual wrestling stands. What's it say on the back? Stand back. There's a Hurricane attempted to double chokeslam both Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin in an unforgettable moment from Royal Rumble 2002. So, as you heard from right there, this is his 2002 attire. Let's see what it looks like outside of the package. All right, now we got the Hurricane. Hurricane Shane Helms. I think this is one of the best renditions of Hurricane. It was right whenever he was still having a good time with it. I'm not sure how much Hurricane or Shane Helms actually liked the character, but man, for TV time and that kind of stuff, he got a lot of TV time for what was considered a joke of a character. Sometimes you have to play those. I wish that they would let him come back and have a little bit more of a serious character, but I guess it helped pay the bills. Not a whole lot of accessories outside of the Great Khali. We have right here, we have Mike holding hands to go along with this two Fist of Fury. And as a superhero, you have to have Fist of Fury because how are you going to fight crime without it? Now, it does come with this cool cape. I will tell you that packaging wise, trying to get this out, I kept feeling like I was tugging on the cape, and I thought I was going to tear it. What they had done is they had actually taped it to the back part of the plastic. So I didn't see that right at first. So if you go to unpackage it and you feel like you're doing the exact same thing, look out for the two pieces of tape. Does Velcro right here for a quick removal. As you can see, whoo, look at that superhero in action. Very kind of basic as far as like the figure itself. Everything's painted on, so there's not a whole lot of extra. I mean, I would imagine that the paint on the body kind of swap out from the other Hurricane ones. The fist, arms, and everything like that comes from other wrestling figures. So not a whole lot to actually make this. Comes to the actual facial features. One of the things I do like is it kind of has his face kind of puffed out, sticking out, because I think at this time he's actually wearing braces. So if that's the case, if they did that knowingly that they're having the Hurricane at this time with the braces, kudos to Mattel for that, going down to the very, very fine detail. Royal Rumble 2002 was one of my favorite Royal Rumbles. It was Triple H coming back from his first quad injury. He had a huge pop, ended up winning it. But the legends that you didn't think that you were going to see come back, we saw Mr. Perfect, which is huge. You saw Gold Dust, which came back to a huge ovation. There was a lot of those type of moments in that pay-per-view or in that match that, just sticks with you for the rest of your days, I guess. Have you guys seen it? Let me know. What did you think of it? But seeing Mr. Perfect, it actually made it to where he actually got a contract from it. It was supposed to be a one and done. Mr. Perfect comes back, ends up getting a huge pop, does great in the ring, looks phenomenal, ends up getting a new contract. Problem was, airplane ride from hell. He ends up wrestling with Brock Lesnar. Rumor is they took Brock Lesnar to the ground and humiliated him. They fired him. A couple months later, unfortunately, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, ends up dying. So, one of his last big hurrahs was Royal Rumble 2002. I'm a huge Mr. Perfect fan, so that might be the reason why it's so etched in my mind as being a great pay-per-view. So now we're going to go to Hulk Hogan. No shortage of Hulk Hogans this year. If you don't need a million Hulk Hogan, then you could pass on this. But once again, it's capsulating a moment in time, especially with this cool banner that we have right here. You can see that big giant window. We have the Hulk Hogan glamour shot, him posing on the back. From what I remember, I read a book somewhere where they're talking about how Vince McMahon said it doesn't matter if Hulk Hogan wins or loses, he has to pose. That's the money shot. And if you grew up in the late 80s, early 90s with Hulk Hogan in WWE, you know that that's true because his posing would go on for longer than some matches on the pay-per-view would go. So on the back right here, it says, Mr. Perfect came crashing down and it hurt inside when the Immortal One threw him over the top rope for his first Royal Rumble match and victory, 1990. Kind of going back to that, the way that he threw him over, he didn't just throw him over like the top rope. He threw him over the top turnbuckle. It was pretty crazy watching him. Mr. Perfect was an incredibly athletic person and showcased a lot whenever he would hit the ropes and he'd do like a flip over way before his time as far as taking crazy looking bumps. So let's open this bad boy up real quick. Got Hulk Hogan out of the package. As you can see, he's got that iconic hot dog looking tan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, overcook your hot dog. That's what it's going to look like. That's Hulk Hogan through and through, especially in the 90s. Now, I think this is just me personally. I think this is probably at the height of Hulkamania, 100%. This is right before he starts wrestling the Ultimate Warrior. I think once he wrestled the Ultimate Warrior and he lost, the Hulkamania craze started going down a little bit, little by little. So I think this is like his last peak because as we know, after the Royal Rumble 1990, it went WrestleMania 6, Obviously, he lost to the Ultimate Warrior. So I think if I was going to pinpoint a moment in his career where he was at his absolute peak, it's going to be at this moment. Now, the cool significance of this, and I'm glad that they actually added this because it's kind of a cool touch, is that a fan had this like bed sheet that had Hulkamania will live forever, and he just happened to spot it. And as said before, they would have him pose at the end of every pay per view because that's where the money was. He sees this, he grabs it, and he holds it up. Obviously, the kid goes, or the person goes crazy where he got it from. But once again, it's just one of those cool touches from Mattel that, you know, during this whole 40th anniversary of Hulkamania, where he is kind of being immortalized in toy form, they took a moment that didn't need to happen and put it in there. Cool touch. All they did was add that to a wrestling figure that they've already had. So, marketing wise, they made a lot of money off of this figure without a whole lot being added to it. Literally just this sheet. All right. So I think it's kind of cool. The one thing that I wish that they would have done is they would have added like a little piece of plastic to go through the tube. So it kind of like easier for him to hold because as you can see right now, yes, he is holding it, but there's nothing in there for him to actually grab onto. So, I mean, cool. We'll see how long it actually stays up. I'm a huge Hulk Hogan fan as far as Hulkamania and back in those days, but this is going to go perfect with my collection because I remember watching that Royal Rumble until the tape broke actually, and then I had to buy a new one. I mean, I absolutely loved it. One of the last couple of wrestlers that were at the end of it was Hulk Hogan, Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Rick Rude, Ultimate Warrior, Barbarian. Some of those people are some of my absolute favorite to watch. Ravishing Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect being one of them, and then them clashing with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. And this is where you get that famous Hogan and Warrior stare down, and then Warrior leaves the ring, planting the seeds for that epic WrestleMania 6. So, love that moment in time. If you haven't seen it, just go back, watch the last, I would say, 10, 15 minutes of that pay per view, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, with that being said, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is my birthday, so have a great day because I know I'm going to. Be nice to yourself, be nice to others, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Oh, and it fell.